Welcome to Sharks Weekly. I'm your host, Josh Raphael. I have with me head women's basketball coach, Leanne Freeland Curry. Happy New Year's, coach. And how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good, doing good.
Good.
And we're not the only ones doing good. Your team's doing great. You guys are 14-1 on a 7-game win streak. I wonder, does a start like this motivate your team in any way, or is it just taking it day by day?
Well, I think they're really proud of where we're at right now. They've worked really hard. From the beginning, we all knew that we have true potential. So I don't think we're surprised that we're at this place. I think they're excited for the next game, which happens to be Tampa. But we've done a good job staying grounded. I think they want to get better and they know that they have even more growth that they can experience as a unit.
And you mentioned Tampa. Does the mentality change going into a game like that? Because you guys are both, I believe you guys both have the same record. You both are tied for second in the SSC right now in terms of conference play. So does the mentality change, or is it just business as usual going into a game like that?
Well, I think players know when big games are big games, and they do respect every team in the league because everybody is good enough to upset anyone any given night out. As you saw with Palm Beach Atlantic beating Tampa in overtime, it didn't surprise me. I think everybody in the league is good enough. So I think we're at a good place because we've gone through the league. We've played six opponents already. Tampa will be the seventh, or actually eighth. I think that they'll be the eighth game in the league. And I think our players now have a true understanding of how good the SSC is. So it's a big game. We all know it's a big game, but at the same time, players love that. They love to rise to the occasion. And we're excited to have a home game and to see Tampa at home. I think it'll be an exciting game for sure.
Of course. And obviously the stakes are, getting a little bit higher as, the season's starting to go on. Do you start looking a little ahead at the postseason, or are you just take it a game by game and you go for there from there?
Well, we've been talking about postseason since day one. I think
Yeah.
the team has to understand how everything comes together with postseason bids and even SSC tournament host opportunities. So coaches have to explain that to the team early so they understand how important every game is. And I think we've done a really good job focusing one game at a time and understanding how important each game in front of them is in terms of positioning ourselves well for the postseason. And the Tampa game is a big game. There could be regional host opportunities. Um, Obviously, SSC seedings for the postseason SSC tournament, regional rankings late in the season. So it's a huge game, and I'm excited. I know the girls are excited. And again, we have two completely different styles of play, so it'll be an interesting game to watch.
And speaking of style of play, something about your team that I feel is so underrated is your girls love to play with each other. And it's evident. When you watch your team play, it's clear that the ball never sticks. Someone's always cutting, the ball always moves, everybody gets a touch. So, I just have to ask you, what do you attribute your team's selfless play to?
Well, that's our program style of play, so we recruit to that. And the girls, they have believe in each other. They have a lot of confidence in each other, and that's the first in a few years where we've seen that kind of confidence where we're sharing the ball, not just sharing the ball because we always share the ball, but we're passing the ball more aggressively. We're passing it to people before they're open. And defensively, we're able to pick up in the full court. And you got to trust your teammates are going to have your back when you extend that full and for the entire court. So again, I think they're a great group of girls and they love playing with each other. They have a lot of fun on and off the court, and that makes a huge difference in a team sport like basketball.
Oh, of course, of course. And kind of going a little bit back to your honestly incredible start. And I'm sure, you came to this season and you always have the utmost confidence in your team. Does this start surprise you in any way, or did you always know in the back of your mind you had a good thing going with this upcoming team?
Yeah, we knew as we went through recruiting, we were really excited when our new players, all of them committed, because it wasn't just a great fit from a basketball standpoint. We really liked them. They had fun on their visits with our staff and with our team. And we just knew it was a good fit overall. And the talent we have right now, and I've told the girls, I really believe this is the best team I've ever coached. And I've coached a lot of great teams from my time at the University of Indianapolis and to my time here at Nova Southeastern. As a head coach, it's definitely one of the best. As an assistant, we had a really good team when I was at Florida Gulf Coast. We ended in the national championship game, and we're right up there. I think we have that kind of depth, we have that kind of talent. We're still kind of fresh to each other. We've only been together as a team for a few months now, and we've already done some great things. So I'm excited to see how we can continue to evolve as we look forward.
No, of course. And let's looking at your schedule and looking at the games that you played, you guys have won, a good amount of games in impressive fashion. And then you've had a couple close ones and a couple games where you've been up and, a team start clawing back. As a coach, how does it make you feel when you're in one of those games where you're up and the team's clawing back and your team's still able to hold on and just beat the adversity? I mean, does it make you feel a little more sense of just being proud of your team, just being able to, because everyone knows you can win when you're up big, but how are you winning when the game gets tight? And it's clear that your team clearly can handle the adversity. So how does that
Right.
make you feel as a coach?
Well, I think going back to how good our league is this year, I mean, and people don't understand it unless you're really in it, like our staff is. But just for an example, we've got four of the top 11 teams in the country with field goal percentage, like four of the top 11. I mean, that's unbelievable. And so my point is, like, the teams we're playing night in and night out are really good. And even the teams that we played out of conference, they're good. They're good enough. So I think we've done a good job putting them in position to experience those tight games. There's no lead big enough in our league because there's not a team on our schedule from this point forward that's going to give in. I mean, everybody fights down to the very last possession. And I think that's going to it's character building. Absolutely. That's your point. It's character building. I think they have a lot of belief in each other. I have a lot of belief in them. We have a lot of confidence at this point. So again, I think some of that is just taking a deep breath and, making a good pass and meeting the pass down the stretch and then knocking down free throws. But again, I think we've done a really good job getting ourselves in position to finish those big games and practice, and then with the games we've already played, because we're going to have some tight games down the stretch. I've never seen the league this good before. And I think our top, I mean, honestly, like our top, I mean, I would go so far as like top 9 right now. I mean, they're good. They're good. They were very fundamental now. When I first got in the league 11 years ago, 12 years ago, the league was not very fundamental, wasn't very skilled, and that's changed. So it's pretty remarkable to see what has happened over the course of my time here at NSU.
No, 100%. And
Yeah.
kind of piggyback off of, your team finishing strong. So your last game against Barry, you guys were up big and, Barry started clawing back, got the game to as close as 7, and obviously your team finished strong. But when you see another team clawing back and getting back in the game, like, what do you tell your team to kind of keep them at bay, kind of keep them ease, knowing that, look, we're okay, let's just finish this game strong? Like, what is kind of walk me through like what a huddle is like when the game gets to like 7 or 6 when you've been up big most of the game?
Well, I think, we have to realize that, the whole game, especially when a team is up, we talked about it, in the locker room today, that teams have to fight to get back. And for whatever reason, officials have a tendency to let the game go at that point. I thought we did a remarkable job maintaining our composure when we weren't getting a lot of calls in the second half. And we were getting hacked. We were getting hammered. We had cuts all over us after the Barry game, and a lot of no calls. So it's interesting perspective when you watch it a second time around to see what our players really did fight through. And the thing that impressed me the most about that, the game that we had most recently at Barry, is we did not react. It was just all business. And then we would call a timeout and just talk about it. And they would go out there and execute. And we executed some huge plays down the stretch that kind of gave us more of a cushion. And again, you can't control the officials' calls. And that's one thing we have to do a better job of finishing through some contact at the rim when we're not getting calls with a big lead. We got to finish those anyway. And I think we learned a good lesson when we went to Barry, because Barry's a team, they went to Tampa a few weeks ago and took them to overtime and lost. And Barry's that good. I mean, they've got some big, strong post players, a big presence, but also very athletic, quick guards. And it's not easy just to show up and, beat them on their home floor. But we did a great job. Our start was remarkable. And then we finished the game. So it was great.
Yeah, that's good. And to kind of, round out, our interview. So the other day, I saw a TikTok from your women's basketball page, and it was a TikTok of yourself and your assistant coaches and their playing days and your playing
Oh, that
days.
was a long time ago, Josh.
Yeah, so I kind of
That's
just
funny.
saw that, and I
That's
want to
funny.
ask, do you guys ever think about lacing up with your team sometimes and running up and down with them, or are you guys just leaving your playing days behind you?
Yeah, I definitely don't anymore. I'm 47. It's not a wise thing for me to do, but McKenna and Allison definitely do. They'll step out there from time to time. It was a little more early on
Mhm.
when we were trying to teach the system. But they've been more on the coaching side of things as we've gotten deeper into the season. Just because we have 14 players, we don't really need them. Thank goodness we're
Mhm.
healthy and we don't need them. But they're ready to go at any point, and they definitely still have it. So it's great to see.
I gotta go see
That's
that one
funny.
day. But
Yes.
coach, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for coming on. If you guys are tuning in, be sure to go watch your women's basketball team January 11th against Tampa at the Shark Tank at 5:30. Coach, thank you again. It is always a pleasure.
All right. Thanks. Have a great day.
You too.